Welcome to Sounds of Montreal. Again, we're doing something stupid. We're here in Toronto for the Canadian International Car Show. It's the big one for Canada. We have a lot of incredible cars. Unbelievably, here is a 1957 Tour de France. I've never seen one in my life. Absolutely epic. And if you keep on moving up, we got a nice little Peugeot here. And if you look on across, we got more futuristic stuff, especially with the new Lotus SUV, which is completely electric, along with the, I forget what the thing is, the Mira, and this freaking Exige, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty wild, but more importantly, we have a lot of wild cars here. We have a 1932 Stutz. We have a Bentley over on the end, which is really wild because it's from 1929. But we're in Toronto, we're causing trouble. I have no sleep, but there is one car here that is really, really special in my heart. Not too big fan of the color because I prefer green, as you might know. But it says A12 Competizione. Unbelievable. Look at this. This thing screams. We got to see it at Drive Fest in September in 2023. Check that out on the channel. You get to hear the car making some noise. It's really fantastic. But if you come with me, we got something even more special than the A12 Competizione. This is the first time I'm actually ever seeing this happen. This is having the entire Holy Trinity in front of us. We have the Ferrari, LaFerrari. We got the McLaren P1, and we got the Porsche 918 Spyder. These are some really spectacular cars. This is in a special paint. It's Fuji Bianco Avis, so matte white, fantastic looking color. Look at the way it shines under these lights, especially in the hood scoop area on the trunk. Then we come over to the P1. It's in a launch spec. Very glorious car. Great carbon work on this thing. It's in race mode right now. As you can tell, the wing is off. And it's pretty low to the ground. So, and it has two different race modes to make it even lower. But this is a good situation. And then we're coming on a little bit further. We got this gloss white. Looks like a, no, it's not a Weissach, is it? No, it is a Weissach package. 918 Spyder. That clears out the Holy Trinity. All three of them are here. We have a beautiful LaFerrari. As we know, I love my V12 Ferraris, and especially LaFerrari. Ferrari. I'm saying it right this time, right? So we got the we got the P1, we got the 19, we got Carrera GT, and we got the A12 Comp. We got a lot more in this show today to get through. It's probably not going to be as extensive as Montreal because we're going to skip all the boring stuff like Lexus. Vern, don't give me that look, Vern. Yeah, you watch yourself. You don't get lunch for that attitude. But first of all, we got the P1, the 19. I want you to focus in on that stuff, Vern, because it's actually spectacular to have all three of these cars together. Fan-flippin-tastic. Wow. That's all I'm going to say is wow. I really want to swear, but I'm not going to. And that is the best he can do. So that's what we're going to go look at the rest of the show. We have a lot more cool cars down the line, including an original Porsche Speedster. So it should be really wild. Check that all out. Don't forget to check out the A12 Comp on the channel at Drive Fest. Great video. Highly recommend it. Check it out. We're still here at the wonderful Canadian International Car Auto Show here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're Sounds of Montreal invading Toronto to give you footage of this show. If you want it or not, you're getting it. Wild things. Vern, don't laugh. You're supposed to be... Vern! You son of a bitch. Don't ruin this. We got a C1 Corvette here. Pretty wild. Nice looking car. We have another one upstairs that's for the Barbie car. We come all down here a little bit further. We got something a little bit more important. This is an original pre-A365 Speedster from Porsche. All original. One of the 200 originally made. Look at the color on it. I don't know if the color's original. It looks too good, but you never know. Most of these are either restored or replicas. This one looks to be professionally restored according to the sign there. The sign says it. We're going to move on. We got this beautiful green Bel Air from Chevy. It's a resto mod, so it's been done up from the ground up. It's a pretty wild looking car. I love the color of green on it. It's a very dark rich green. Unbelievable. And we know how much I love my green cars. But we're going to move over onto the more modern stuff right here. We have a 2007 Weissman MF4. Wild looking car. If I'm not mistaken, it's got a BMW engine in it. It's a 4.8 liter V8, which is pretty wild. Glorious looking car. If I'm not mistaken, I think Hammond had a couple. Right? Yeah. George agrees with me. Then we got Shelby with the Series 1. This is a very rare car. Not many of these were made. It's pretty cool that there's one. I know there's 2 in Canada, 1 here and 1 in Montreal. Montreal, I think John Scotty has the Shelby Series 1. Then we're going to move on to the Viper GTS from 1998. Everyone loves a V10. Glorious. But more importantly, we have something original here. We have a Lamborghini tractor. Now, if you don't know, Lamborghini started as a tractor manufacturer, and here's one of their models. It's one of the originals from 1964. It's pretty cool. And then we move on to another Lamborghini, which is the start of their big run with Audi in 2002. This is a 2007 Murcielago, but this is a Versace edition, or I like to call it the Versace. Vern doesn't like it when I call it Versace because he's all about that fashion stuff. But here's a Versace Murcielago. It's black. It's a V12. It probably sounds fantastic, but it's got a weird sticker on the side. As you probably have seen, I'm not a fashion guy, so I do cars. I don't do fashion. So let's try to separate those two. Then we're going to move over to the replica of the Tumbler from Batman Begins and the other one and the other one. This is one of Vern's favorite movies. He's very disappointed that this is a tiny little Tumbler. But, you know, this is what you do. This is what you get. Then we're going to move on to the Porsche diesel tractor, right? This came out before that Lamborghini tractor. This came out in 1958. Don't mind this. We're in Toronto. It's great. Right beside that is we got the Carrera GT. Okay, Vern just gets a little mad. I get onto him and then everything's fine. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Now we got the Carrera GT. Fantastic car, screaming V10. We know how much I love a V10, but we're just going to quickly move on to something real quick because I know we've already talked about it before, but I got to talk about it again. It's the Holy Trinity in front of us right now. Look. Vern, not me. I'm not pretty enough. This is pretty. I'm not pretty. That is pretty. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Let me get under the camera so you can see this. Look at it all. And like, just soak it in. We got a V12. We got the V8 turbo, and we got a V8 turbo. What's crazy about it is they're all hybrid. They all came out within, what, a month or 2 of each other, which is unheard of to have all 3 Halo cars come out so close to each other. And it's wild that we actually get to see these 3. I've dreamed of this day to see these 3 together. And here we are in Toronto, 2024. I'm really old. I haven't had sleep. I'm tired. Some guy named Lemon keeps looking at me weird. Vern is like delirious and laughing for some reason, but we don't know what's going on. But anyways, we're going to go check out the rest of the car show. We're going to go see Ferrari next, which I'm very excited about. So we'll catch you there. Now, as I promised, we're going to go check out Ferrari. I'm very excited because I love my Ferraris. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Ferrari. Ferrari? I think so. Anyways, we're coming in here. Hold on. Vern, quick. Vern. It's a 296 challenge. Are you seeing this, Vern? Because to see this in plus, they just announced it, a month ago? And we're seeing one here? That's unheard of for Canada, at least. So this is really wild. Look at this thing. It's got a V6 turbo hybrid. It is probably the fastest outside of F1 and probably the hypercar series race car you can get, or track only car from Ferrari you can get. The original 488 Challenge had over 600 horsepower. The 430 had way more horsepower than any of the counterparts that ever did GT. The same with the 458, and then the 488 Evo, also over 600 horsepower. This is incredible that we're actually seeing a 296 GT challenge car. I can't speak. It's great. So we're going to just go this way, and we're going to come across to a little bit more olders. We got a 328 GTS. Special place in our heart for all the 308s and 328s because we do love them. Great sound out of them. Well, they're fun little cars. Let's just put it to you that way. They're still the 80s Ferrari reliability, so you can imagine what that is entirely like. But we're just going to come over here, and we're going to just go around this pillar. We're going to come and join the 80s. The 80s is a wild place because we got great V8 turbo F40. Oh, Vern, this is not your favorite, but it's my favorite. I just hit my mic. It probably made a lot of noise. Sorry about that. We're just going to move down. We're going to check out, we got the F40 here. We got the 288 GTO. This, funny enough, this is the second 288 GTO that we're able to see this year. We got to see one in Montreal with the Luc Poirier collection, and now we're going to see this one. And then we'll move back over to the F40. They share the same engine. This was originally made to be in a Group B rally racer. This was not. This was just to be cool. Look at it. Also, this was the last Ferrari to actually get Enzo's input, which makes it even more special. fantastic. Fun fact, Vern doesn't think it has turbos. We're going to have to hate on Vern for that one. But yeah, twin turbo V8, fantastic. Let's move over to one of my favorites. This one is carrying the V12, 6.5 liter V12 in the Enzo. Obviously, it's Ferrari's namesake, the Enzo. But look at it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And once again, this is the second one we're seeing this year. This is the third or fourth Enzo I've seen in my entire life, which is pretty wild since there's probably like 4,000 of them if you go by their VINs. There was only supposed to be 599 made, but there was way more on the VIN registry. So, hey, Ferrari, we're up to no good. Now we're going to move on to the 365 GTV Daytona, another V12. This is actually a really wild setup. We get to actually see all the suspension work, the brakes, all kinds of work. And Vern actually pointed out to check out the little turn signal with the Ferrari logo in it. Very nice little touch. Beautiful, beautiful car. Also very rare. Love the little silver lining they have on the front. Fucking classic. I swore. I'm so sorry. I'm not supposed to, but, you know, fuck it. Let's keep going over here. We got to go look at the 296 GT again, Challenge again, because it's just so glorious. Now, Vern, I want you to get some close-ups in there and look at the exhaust system. Look at the way the grill works. Look at how beautiful that is. And then we're going to go head over and see what Alpha's got to say, or one of those other companies. I just don't know which. But we'll go find out what they have to say, and then we'll go check them out. But I'm going to go take some pictures. As you can tell, I got my camera and everything. So we'll go catch you guys later. We're here at the FAF booth with McLaren Toronto. First, we're going to start with the V6 hybrid with the Artura. But more importantly, now this is really wild. We have the 720S GT3 car that just took part in the latest 24 hours of Daytona in this past January. They drove this in the track. It's really wild. I want you to get the interior shot so you can see all of the incredible race, the race setup of the 720. You notice it's really gutted compared to the stock model. You can see me in the mirror, in the window. Do a little dance. Let's come to the front of the car. See the giant intercooler right here in the front. Sucks all the air through, all the different air vents to get as much air into the brakes and the aerodynamics as possible, keep the car low. Then we come down, you can see they have the lights set up for the 24 hours because they do have to race all night. And then we come through and you see more air ducts and a really great aerodynamic package. Now they've upgraded from the GT3 RS or Cup car and so on and so forth for the previous years, where was the championship winning car. So it's really wild that they've decided to go to McLaren and see how that pays off. We're going to move on to the brand new 750S Spider V8 twin turbo, the 4 liters, same as the 720. We went over this in our last video, so if you want to check out the Montreal show, go check that out. We talked with Charles and McLaren to give us all the lowdown of the 750S. Let's go around the back of the car, and then we're going to move on to another one. Look at this. Just, if you can get in, you can see the sparkle on this paint. It is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. What an orange. I believe it's papaya, if I'm not mistaken. Which is, just look at the shine. Really wild. Okay, let's move on. Over here, we have one of 10 MSO McLaren SLRs. Mercedes and McLaren got together and built this car together. This is the MSO variant. Only 10 were created. Look at the insanity of this build. Just take a good look. It's a very interesting color, but holy cow, 636 horsepower according to the graphics. Now, if you come over here, Vern, I want you to get a shot of the exhaust system. It's actually really, really wild. Now, if you could get into the slits, you can see the whole exhaust system coming down straight from the engine. You can imagine the sound that this thing makes, the amount of noise it probably produces just because of the short exhaust. Look how close it is to the engine bay itself. And then you bring that out and it just produces all that glorious noise. It's on Michelin's. It's pretty wild. Now we're just going to move over just a little more. Watch out, there's someone behind you. We're going to move on to Pagani of Toronto. Now this is exciting because now we have this exposed carbon purple Huayra Roadster. Unbelievable looking car. Just look at the detail in the carbon work. If you come over and look at the exhaust system on the Huayra, look at how beautiful this thing is. The amount of workmanship that goes into one of these cars. Horatio does a fantastic job of building a car. This is a masterpiece. Just look at the way the engine bay holds, the way the engine sits, all the different aerodynamic patches, the way the carbon is all weaved perfectly, and they all seem to be aligned. Now, if you look at this section of carbon, and you look at this section of carbon, you'll notice that all the carbon is generally aligned, which is really, really wild. And even if you go here, all the carbon is nicely aligned. We're just going to come around to the front of the car to check out the interior really quick, because Pagani, if they make one thing besides a stunning car, is a stunning interior. Now come look at this.
All the beautiful purple stitching on the graded background. Look at the steering wheel. Look at the center gauge. Everything about this car is just absolutely stunning. All the clusters are in gold. It is just a stunning, stunning thing. Now, if you're from Toronto, you might recognize this, but it's got the 407 toll route. So you can get on the toll route and they can charge you that way. So that's pretty wild, that knowing that this is probably road driven. Now, we've heard this car before. It was at Dry Festival. You can check it out. We saw it in the 2023 version of the Dry Fest. Go check it out. It's all over the thing. Now we're going to move on to another, the Huayra Coupe. This is also exposed carbon, not purple, but black. Beautiful red interior, absolutely stunning car. Let me get out of the way of Vern so you can actually get a good look at this car. Just absolutely stunning. How much workmanship, just like even the littlest details. It's like, look at how that mirror is shaped. It's absolutely really stunning. But first, we have something really insane. We have the one-of-one liquid black Zonda Liquid. It's a Zonda R. This thing is not road legal. Now we're going to come right in to look at this car. It is stunning. It's a showstopper. Everyone's stopping to look at this car, and then we're going to come around. Now, if we come back, you're going to see the Zonda R logo. If you look under, you see the ceramic-coated exhaust. This thing must absolutely scream. I really want to hear this thing on the track. I hope they bring it to Drive Fest or something so they can actually drive it on the track and we can hear it. Absolutely stunning car. That's how they raise the car when they need to get under it. That's the air thing. Now, come on, come with me. All the exposed carbon fiber, absolutely stunning. We have the deep dish wheel in the back, center lock caps. Now, if you come over here, it still keeps the traditional Pagani interior, where it's really spectacular, but it is race set up. We have the polycarbonate wheels. Everything is ready for the track. It's got the 4-point harness. It's all carbon fiber inside on the bottom of the car. It's absolutely stunning. The carbon work is all precise. Again, if you look, all the grain is together. Very cool. Now, if you come here, you get a good look at the intercooler, as well as the tow hook and all the front aerodynamic of this car. Soak that in for me, Vern. Get a nice 3/4 shot so everyone can see how glorious this car is. It's a really stunning car. But that's all the amazing stuff from Pagani. We still got a couple more manufacturers to check out throughout the day, but we're going to try to shoot these cars before everyone freaks out and makes it too dangerous in here, because people don't like to respect the people. So one day they'll learn, but for now, just keep an eye on this car. It's absolutely stunning, Vern. I don't know how you're looking at me. Look at the car, Vern. Seriously. Brilliant. Absolutely beautiful. I'd take two, honestly. If I could get two, I would take two. Oh, I love looking back at you. Here we are at Tesla. Hey Barbie, let's go party with this Corvette. It's a Barbie Corvette. It's not the original because it's only got 2 seats. It's supposed to have 4. Electric, the whole 9. You know how we feel about electric cars. Soak it in, Vern. You soaked it in yet, Vern? Let's go. Welcome back. We're here with the new Dodge Charger concept. It's completely electric, and you know how we feel about that. Bring us a V8 supercharged, you motherfuckers. We got all kinds of stuff here at the Canadian International Car Show. We've got fruits like lemon. We got Verns like Vern. And we got RWB Porsches. Look at this. Handcrafted by one man and one man only. Does everything by eye. There's nothing measured. He just does it. Smokes a lot of cigarettes while he's doing it. Fucking cool. Highly recommend if you check out these RWP Porsches. They're pretty wild. This is a very cool car. If you can get under the rope, you can see how wide these things actually are. Vern, check that out. It's pretty cool. A lot of craftsmanship goes through in making one of these, especially with Nakai behind them. He is a genius when it comes to building stuff. And it's amazing that he can keep each panel and everything lined up all by eye, which is incredible. Let's move on. We got an Evo. It's pretty cool. In 2008, an Evo 10. Another wide body. Looks like a lot of work went into it. Can't really tell you much about it because I don't know. I can tell you about the stock Evo, and it's not the massively modified one. We have a Civic here. It's a Civic. This is wild though. We have a supercharged V8 Celica from 1972.
That is incredible. That is a wild car. You don't see them as it is. The only one I've ever seen was from a dealership in Montreal. It was at one of the Epicure Classic shows, and it was completely stock. It's a dealership car with low mileage. Really cool. We're going to come over here to the other side of the aisle of the tuner section. We have a wide-body Silvia S15. I don't know which S15 it is because it's now a wide body. So Spec R, not Spec R, Type S, not Type S, Q fucking, you know, like one of the different varying aero packages that they come out with in Japan. But S15, pretty cool. We got an SLS 450. 430, sorry. It doesn't ride very well, as you can tell. I think something's wrong with the suspension. I don't know what it is, but there might be something wrong. We have some Mazda over there. Let's come over to the cool stuff now. Here we have a Liberty Walk wide-body ER34 Skyline. This is a GTT or a GTST Type M, one of the two. I'm not sure because of all the modifications, obviously. Comes with a 2.5-liter Neo version of the RB. It's an RB25, not an RB26. The 26 was for the GTRs. This is an RB25. Unless they did a swap or something, you don't know unless they open the hood. Beautiful car, all 4 doors. It's one of the sedans. Not many have sold. This was a primary car that was used in the drift scene, especially in the early 2000s, especially by Blitz Drift Team with the Doriken as their driver. And he was he still is a crazy guy, but then really wild car. I really like it. I'm a big fan of Nissans, as you know. Nissan, Ferrari, all that. Fantastic. If you look at the wheels, they're Advan TC4s. Those things are expensive. And they're only in Japan. You can't really find them out here. So there's a lot of work put into this car. A lot of work put into this car. It's pretty crazy. Nice little wide body from I think it's Liberty Walk. It's got the Liberty Walk logos and shit. So yeah. So here's the back end of the Silvia. You can see exactly how wide it is. I think the car was blue originally. By the looks of if you look into the gapping, you can see there's a little blue there. So the car was probably blue to start with. Been wrapped white or something, because you can just see the edge of it on the fairing in the back there after where it was cut, and then they remolded it. I'm not sure about that. This thing's really low. I don't know how they drive it. Over here we got a nice little Porsche with all the lovely old school fucking livery, the Rothman Sports. We know a John Rothman. He was on our channel last time. Hi, John. That's probably your car. You should get one. Anyways, we're going to move on to, I think, Grand Touring Autos next, and then that pretty much sums up the whole Canadian Auto Show. I hope you enjoyed it. But we're going to go check out Grand Tours. Let's go. Just going to go that way. Well, here we are at the Grand Touring Automobiles exhibit here at the Canadian International Auto Show here in Toronto. We got a couple cool cars. We have the all-electric Spectre. You know how we feel about electric cars. Fuck. Burn. That's what I thought. Electric cars, give us a V8, V12, V10, then we'll be happy. Here's an interesting one. The Rimac. This is a very interesting car. It's super fast. It's ridiculous. The tech in it is crazy. But you know what it's missing? Vern, do you know? It's missing a V12. That's what it's missing. Okay? Everything needs a V12. It is a gorgeous car. Love the color. But we're going to move on to something with engines. We have a clip of this car actually moving from the show today. And it was driven by none other than Richard Hammond. Big flex there. Yeah, you should check our videos out because we have like famous people in them. Anyways, I'm exhausted. I'm a little delirious. Here's a Bugatti Chiron. If I'm not telling me, someone, one of the fruits I know is that he's a lemon who's telling me this might be the last Chiron off the production line, which is pretty crazy. And if I'm wrong about that, it's the lemon's fault. Now we're going to move on to one of 112 in existence, the Lamborghini Countach. Beautiful car. This is probably my favorite spec I've seen it in. We've seen it in green and orange and now blue. The gold wheels, the white interior is actually really, really nice. And I like the gold accenting on the mirrors. Very, very cool. Now we have the new for 2024, a Lamborghini Revolto. It's replacing the Aventador. It's got 1,000 horsepower, all-wheel drive hybrid system. It's I think the hybrid system is coming from the Scion and the Countach, or the Countach. So that's pretty freaking wild. It is. It's going to be expensive. We're probably pushing $600,000 for this thing, depending on the spec. The lights are really cool. I like the headlights are pretty wild. I'm not so big on the Scion front end. Don't like that design decision. You're talking about the Technic. I'm not a big fan of that. I prefer the older Aventador, so on and so forth. We come over here. Maybe you can get a shot of the interior in there, Vern. It's got a nice interior, nice red and black stitching. This is definitely a launch spec or a demo model. The carbon on the side behind the wheel is very new to this model. The huge intercoolers in the back, you can see them just through the side of the door there. very huge. That's new to this model. You know, the more I look at it, the more it grows on me. Huge brakes. Look at the size of the brake discs on that thing. You need all that stopping power for the 1,000 horsepower. But one of my favorites is the Countach. I was always a fan of the Countach in the 80s, so seeing one here in this new version of it is pretty wild. It's a beautiful car. It's actually stunning in the spec, honestly. Out of all the three I've seen, this is probably the best spec. If you want to hear the Countach, you can check all our videos out on Sounds of Montreal. We have an orange one making all kinds of noise. And actually, it's in one of the hypercar convoy of like 24 hypercars that drove the streets of Montreal. We have that video on the YouTube channel too. You should check that out. Now, this is really special. It's a little car, but it's an Aston Martin DB5, I'm not mistaken. Now, it's a roadster, obviously, I think it has to be, for someone to fit in it. But yeah, I think they retail it, what, 300 grand, 200 grand, somewhere in there. Meticulously made, all handcrafted, absolutely stunning. It's actually really looks like a miniature version of the Aston. We have a real Aston DB5 on the channel. You should check that out. It's with the DB12 video, where you can actually hear the DB12, the prototype version, rev its engine, which is pretty wild. Not many people have that, so you should check that on the channel as well. Not to mention the 296 GTB. We have one of the first ones in Montreal driving around Montreal streets in the snow, which is, if you can imagine that, so check that on the channel. Now, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to Sounds of Montreal, invading Toronto here for the International Car Show. We're going to end it here with the beautiful array of cars here. We got to see the Holy Trinity. We got to see the Revolto. We got all kinds of stuff. But Vern, before we go, there's two more things we need to see. Are you ready for this? We have this Porsche here, and we have the Pininfarina Battista. Now, Pininfarina went on to make an all-electric car. Look at this thing. It is a monster. Vern, if you probably come over here, probably get a better shot. There's a nice little open gate here that we can shoot the car through. That is fantastic. Just get it in there, get that angle. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful car. The green on it is just absolutely stunning. It's a fantastic looking car. And frankly, I think this is the only electric car outside the Rimac that I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, once again, could probably use a V8. Super heavy because of the batteries and the amount of power that it produces, but it's a wild looking car. And you can see the Pininfarina in it, the way it's designed. And if you look at older Ferraris, say the 488, the 458, 430, so on and so forth, with all Pininfarina, you can see the elements in the car. And I think that will wrap up our coverage of the Toronto show. I hope you all enjoyed it. Tune in tonight, and don't forget to watch the actual sounds videos with actual car sounds that are better. I'm gonna go find my camera. I'll see you guys later.